Welcome to ZNB Live, your unfiltered Lego podcast. I am one of your hosts, Zach M. Rutledge, here with Mr. Bricks O'Brien.
Good evening.
Or as some of us like to refer to him as Lips O'Brien.
What did he say?
Listen,
I said what I said.
I exist, and people will clip whatever they shall, and what ends up on my headstone is remain to be seen.
Lips O'Brien. We knew him well. Celebrated author.
You know what's going to be wild, actually? On my headstone, it's just going to be a QR code that you'll be able to scan, and it's going to be like a whole channel or a folder full of all of my stuff. So it's like a living memory.
Whatever. There's going to be a QR code on your headstone that's going to lead them to the next Kickstarter for how to do your taxes.
Yes, there will be. Yes. Yeah. Kevin will do it to spite me. That's it. That's it.
I will outlive you long enough just to carve it in there myself. That is the way that's going to go. Welcome into Z.
Exclamation book.
Exclamation book. Exclamation taxes. Welcome into ZNB Live, your unfiltered Lego podcast. We are live with you guys here on Twitch every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Allegedly live every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern time here on Twitch. You can catch us live, twitch.tv/Zach M. Rutledge, or you can catch the replays over on YouTube at youtube.com/ZNB. Wait, ZNB Live.
Yes.
You
got it. You did it.
All of a sudden, I was like, wait, did we add the live into the URL? Oh, no. Oh, God. I can't even promote right. My goodness, this is terrible. Start over. Let's just run it back. But you can also catch us over on podcast channels like Spotify, Apple Podcast, all those things. We would love to get your comments and your input on the shows in all of those comment sections wherever you watch the show. But if you're live with us here on Twitch, you get the bonus of sticking around afterwards for a little post show where we can discuss some of the things that we talked about. If you guys have any input or insight or corrections on anything that we say, because I have a tendency to say the absolute wrong thing and provide absolute inaccurate information on a consistent basis. So please correct me so we can prove just how much fake news I am on during the show. I would appreciate it. But we've got some spicy stuff to talk about today, and we got some spicy stuff coming up. Mr. Bricks O'Brien on Friday, tomorrow, is celebrating his partner anniversary live here on Twitch starting at 5 p.m. Eastern time on Friday.
Correct.
Right. So what's the plan?
There is no plan. There's no plan. I'm going to hit the go live button at approximately 5 p.m. Eastern, and we'll take it from there.
I am not even going to lie about this. I tried to see if I could get a shirt made that just says there is no plan and just wear it the entire time. And I could not get it to me in time for the plan.
You could 3D
stream.
print a plan. Just put like the letters and you just glue it on there. That's what a 3D printer is for, right?
Just glue it right on the shirt. Sure. We'll do that.
I can't believe you asked me if I got a 3D printer the other day. Why did you ask me?
Because there was a big sale that I know you knew about. There was a big sale on printers and things and all the stuff. I know you know about it. I know you knew about it.
Well, because Rich was trying to slide up in my DMs and be like, Ryan, you should really. And I'm like, nope, it's not happening, Rich. We're not doing it.
But you could have, though.
I could have, but there's a lot of things I could do. I could eat an entire deep dish pizza from Domino's on this show tonight, and I'm not going to do it.
Boy, that actually sounds really, really good. I have a free medium pizza waiting for me at Domino's. I ordered something. I ordered one while I was I think it was in Houston or somewhere. I was on a gig like earlier this year, and I ordered Domino's because I was just hungry and I didn't want to leave my room. And they emailed me like afterwards and like, here's your free pizza, because something went wrong, like it wasn't there in time or whatever, and like they were like, here, as a courtesy, here is our I didn't even complain. Like I didn't even have to,
Right.
call, write an angry letter or anything. They just sent me a coupon for, it has to be carry out. That's the only caveat. The whole thing, I have to do a carry out, which sucks.
So I don't want to one up you, but I'm gonna. So today I got an email that said, "Hey Brian, you purchased a Nintendo Switch from Target, which is the one that was subsequently given away for the Kickstarter. And we know it didn't arrive on launch date. We're really sorry about that. Here's a $50 Nintendo eShop gift card."
Brian,
and I'm like, yeah, all right, sweet.
You can almost buy a full game with that.
True. Or I could give it away in some context.
Oh,
Maybe I'll do that, but I don't have any plans for it right now. I don't have any plans.
Gotcha. I mean, there is that, Final Fantasy VII, I think, is officially coming out on the Switch 2 in a couple weeks.
It's not what Final Fantasy related thing is not coming anywhere. It's not coming to Bricklink in any capacity.
Oh my God. He's already trying to pivot to pivot over to what we're actually talking about here. This freaking guy. Bricklink made some big news. Lego and Bricklink made some big news today, or I'm sorry, not today, but this week, and announced finally that they are going to be merging your account. It's a very convoluted situation. They're going to be merging your Lego and Bricklink accounts in the autumn of 2025. So we don't have a specific date yet, even. Like, it's just in autumn of 2025, Bricklink, which is owned by Lego, is going to merge your accounts. So for some reason was not the case when Lego bought Bricklink. So Bricklink was around before Lego bought it. Explain this a little bit to me.
So Bricklink, obviously independent entity from Lego in most respects up until they were purchased back in 2021. Up until that point, it was established by, I believe, one gentleman and then subsequently a small team of web devs, putting it basically like duct taping it, the whole thing together, trying to make a marketplace and keep it functional and relevant for a modern audience, as being like the eBay of Lego individual purchases, basically like wholesale warehousing. You can open up your own store with a whole bunch of parts, buy whatever individual parts you want, current, retired, or otherwise. And Lego made the purchase for the company back in 2021. And a lot of people were concerned about, all right, what does that mean? Does that mean that we can, no longer have like these third-party accessories? Can we not have, some of these custom printed things? Like, what does this mean for the future of Bricklink? Because it was fan run entirely. And so they've now pivoted to making these things, these sets, and making a whole thing of it. So it's an entirely different direction from what I would have assumed they would have done years ago. But it's definitely helped with their optimizations and their systems of protocols or whatever.
Yeah.
So
that's what I just don't understand is why, why not 2021? Why now? Why wait until now?
Why merge the accounts now?
Yeah.
Because it's held together by duct tape, the whole website. The infrastructure is like, there's people that prefer the classic look to Bricklink, where it's like, it's meant to be like it's more a database than it was a marketplace in the first place, I believe. Right. So if you were to build an e-commerce platform from the beginning, it's not going to be this. It would be something way entirely different in terms of looks and functionality and everything, like Lego is.
But that's kind of my point, though, is like, why do it now when when you didn't do it when you acquired Bricklink back in 2021, right? Like, I feel like because it is held together with duct tape, you're just asking for everything to just break. You're just asking for trouble now, in my opinion, unless there's an ulterior motive behind it. And like we're in autumn, we're going to get a whole, as Bricklink turns 25 years old, we're going to get a whole new interface or a whole new look, or they're going to migrate from this current whatever server system that they're on, and they are behind the scenes moving everything over to some kind of new system, new look. And that migration is going to require everybody to merge those accounts. Like I'm curious what this means. And they're being kind of like, they sent out a press release to, I think, some insiders and things like that, or land members to kind of push out and, let the information go. But they're still kind of being a little quiet about exactly what it means. Like, some people are still kind of guessing. And one of the things that I'm curious about, and I think others are curious about, is if this merges, well, when this merges, does this also mean that we're finally going to acquire any kind of points or anything like that for our purchases through the Bricklink store, right? Whether that
the designer program, I believe you do.
Designer, but like, but what about just stores in general? Like using their system?
Oh no,
no,
never, no, because like as Roy is pointing out in the live chat here, Lego wants the data, and I don't know what they could use it for, because like the reason why people go to Bricklink is to get bulk or retired product. That data is something they already have access to. So I mean that's one thing. And they want to make it all integrated. Like I get it. But also I don't know if Lego wants to eventually eliminate the idea of selling individual bricks on the store. I don't know. Like, I think it's one thing to sell like a set or even minifig. Like, I don't know what the long-term vision for it is, but they've already made a radical change by having the different streamlined processes for the designer program, right? They did it once way long ago, and I remember I got the saloon, and it was like, it took forever. It was a logistical disaster more than it is now, and whatever. Now when these things come out, they're pretty streamlined, right? Because they figured it out, of course. And that's Lego having that aspect of it too. So I don't think the grand plan for Bricklink has finally reared its head yet. And I think this is a step to having that happen. So I don't know what the intention is, though.
The question is this a step in the direction of Bricklink going away as an entity and just being absorbed completely by the Lego website as one entity, where you go in and people have these community? It's the Lego community, and that's where the shops are. It's all under one website.
Because if Deborah Sue goes on to Lego and buys a bunch of brick from whoever, and then, oh, it's scratched, or, oh, it got lost, or, oh, this is not what I ordered, or, oh, whatever. All of those sellers, as amazing as they are, they cannot hold the same quality standard as Lego corporate and everybody. They literally, all those people would be like, bleep this, we're going over here, and they're going to do that instead. They're not going to bother with that,
because you got the it's an interesting dynamic where you have Legos with the pick-a-brick sections, right? Like you've got that available to you on their website. You're basically doing the same thing with more involved, where you can actually do build outs and you can price or get the pieces together from multiple shops and stuff like that. I mean, I've been using it. I've got something coming up here where we're doing something for it's called Camp Chaos, and I'm going to be showing the kids how to do a fidget cube, and I need those pieces. So I was able to like literally look up all the different pieces I needed, build a shopping cart of those, and then have it fill it in from all the different shops that I needed to get them from. That's the beauty of Bricklink, in my opinion. Like that's what I love it for. If they had that kind of integration into the Lego website and their pick a brick section and that would be great. That'd be amazing. But I'm just curious as to, again, why the reason why doing it now, what's the ultimate goal? And is this just a stepping stone into seeing Bricklink as we know it kind of slowly being moved out of the way and turning into something quite different? We'll see how it goes. I don't have a good segue for this. We're just gonna talk about Lego ideas. I was like, could I get it in there? I don't know. I've got an idea. Let's talk about Lego ideas, Brian. There it is. We've officially heard from Lego that the winners of the 90s Lego Ideas contest will in fact be the X-Files and Wallace and Gromit sets. Those will be coming to the Lego Ideas. And yeah, Brian's already asleep on this one. I'll tell you, honestly, we talked about this when they got into all of the process of the 90s, the finalists and now what they've officially selected. Brian and I, neither one of us were very excited about any of the sets that they were, promoting and advertising for this whole thing. And it wasn't like the 80s. And frankly, part of it was because some of the stuff that they left out. Like, I think we all talked about the no-brainer 90s set was Power Rangers. And I'm assuming that was a licensing issue that they just could not push forward, with that. There are a lot of X-File fans, and my wife included. I recently just went, just went through the whole series with her. I had watched I remember watching the first 5 episodes of the first season multiple times back in the 90s, right? But I never got past that. And I really only knew of X-Files from popular culture and stuff like that. So I didn't really know what was going on. And I ended up really enjoying the heck out of that show when I went through it with the wife just this year. And so as a set goes, I know this is going into our house. I know this is going to be right up there next to The Office, right up there next to the Friends, right up there next to the Seinfeld, right up there. It's, it's going to fit within that same scheme of things. And the design of it, from what the designer did is cool. It's an interesting idea. It's got some foresty type things with a hovering UFO and then Mulder's office underneath, which it's cool. It's a cool diorama style set. Obviously with ideas, they're going to change some things. And I'm curious how much they can improve on this or how much of it they scale back to simplify it. And that's what I'm curious to where this goes. The Wallace and Gromit thing, I was never I care less. I was not a fan, and I feel like it looks better than the Hagrid bike. You know what I mean? But it's in the same line as that stuff and those buildable humanoid figures. And it's you either love them or you don't. If you have a emotional tie to Wallace and Gromit, okay, fine. Great. Good for you. But as far as overall encompassing the 90s, I don't know if these sets do that, man. I don't know if these two sets encompass the 90s. When they picked the Goonies and Gizmo, Gremlins for the 80s, that was okay. I get that. Those were major family oriented properties from the 80s. Totally get it. This, I don't get. I don't understand it. Help me understand this.
I think they're really limited with what they want to pull off. I think that these are going to definitely tick the box for certain people. They don't tick the box for me in any way, shape, and form. And it's funny that I went to 90s night at the Boston Children's Museum. They call it a Boston Grown-Ups Museum, right? And they had 90s music, DJ, all the activities and stuff. And I'm like, wow, as someone born in 96, I'm not much of a 90s person. Wow. I guess not. Wow. That's wild. And then to me, the most 90s thing is Pokemon, and they're already making a theme of it. So, all right. I don't know how much more you get 90s if it's not a holiday thing, or I don't know. Power Rangers
was the slam dunk, man. Power Rangers was that slam dunk.
And I just think they've already done so much that they don't really have that wiggle room. So these two things, they're going to be on store shelves for about 6 months, and then they're going to go away, and that's going to be it. So, it's just more of that. And I think the Wallace and Gromit was a little more difficult for them to pull off, but I think it looks great now. Hopefully that vision isn't compromised when it actually comes out. And Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I got nothing else.
Yeah, I think the Wallace and Gromit they look like Wallace. I mean, from the designer's, design, like it looks like Wallace and Gromit. It's great. It's fantastic. I hope to God they don't do, because this could turn into the Disney, what was it? Magic Moments, Disney Moments, whatever that Mickey idea set oh my God, like they just destroyed that set from what it was to what we got. They absolutely, I don't know who in what designer world thought that was an improvement on what the designer had done, but it was not. And I'm hoping we don't see that with the Wallace and Gromit thing for those fans out there. Again, the X-Files one, I'm curious to see what they can do with it to make it better or even more interesting than what it might be. And the idea of the UFO hovering above the whole thing could be cool. Like that mechanic of being able to do that could be a really interesting thing to see how the designers really come up with it and how it can be plussed up that way. But yeah, these sets, and maybe like are they not picking sets like a Power Rangers because they have plans already, or you think it's more of a licensing thing? Because we saw that with like Snow White, right? Like Snow White constantly out there, right? And they just kept not letting it go through, and then lo and behold, they had one in the
Power Rangers, Mattel, or is it still Saban?
I believe it's Saban.
Yeah, and they're kind of their own thing. I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, I got really I got no answer for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be curious. Yeah, I'll be curious to see like if we ever get, because to me again, that screams when something is just absolutely omitted from even consideration. That's like the Snow White thing. That to me is what that tells me. That says we are already cooking on that. Stand by, and maybe next year we'll see something kind of thing. I feel like that's what we're seeing there. So we'll see.
Yeah, and maybe these two sets were like, we don't really want to release these as our own thing, but I guess people wanted them enough that we can do them under this method, and then now we can do this and get it out of the way, kind of, for these two sets, and that's it.
I'll tell you what, just thinking, this got me really kind of looking at the idea sets in general and thinking about idea sets in general and what sets, whether they be IPs or, some of the best idea sets are the ones that don't have to follow something that's an IP. Some of the best idea sets are stuff that are just literally born out of an idea, right? And it gives Lego an opportunity to make something that wasn't currently on their radar. So it got me thinking, what could be good idea sets that we haven't seen yet, or that maybe are currently on the ideas website that we would really like to see push through. And I know I just kind of talked about not going with the IPs, but I'm telling you right now, I've been screaming it from the mountaintops. I wanted it back in the 80s competition. My God, give me a Knight Rider car. Give me a kit car. We have light bricks. We have a sound brick now, Lego. This is what I want to see. Utilize this technology that you have. Put a big honking sticker across the front of that box and give me a talking kit car that I can hit one button that lights up the front end of that car and then has the kit voice say something to me. Please, please, please. Caboodle was another one. When I was pitching some of these ideas to the show topics to the wife last night, she kept saying caboodle. You don't know what this is. You don't know you weren't a 90s girl. Apparently this caboodle stuff, I highly recommend everybody Googling this if you were not a 90s girl, but it's basically a jewelry box, but like it was like the jewelry box to get as a 90s teenage girl. Like that was the thing to get. And it opened up and it had like all these cool compartments and all of these things. And caboodles were all the rage for the 90s girls. So again, it's an IP, but it's an interesting one to kind of bring it back retro wise. I don't know, but what do you think? What's an idea? Like, what's an idea set out there that a Brian Saviano would want, a Lips O'Brien would want to see?
You know, I actually have I'm going to pivot here. I actually have a very controversial opinion now that I'm looking at this website. I think Lego Ideas is defunct and pointless. I think it's pointless. And the reason I say that is because Lego already has so many properties they already work with, studios, publishers, all this stuff. And they've either already done it, they can't do it, or they're already working on it. So like what is some, and like all the wacky ideas, like, yeah, they've done the typewriter, they've done the piano, but they also do the wacky ideas themselves now. They output more sets now than they've ever had before. And it's just just like that, right? So does Lego need ideas to pull from to like have it and do it? Do they need to give somebody a 1% cut to make it happen? I don't know if they do anymore. Like, we've gotten a lot of wild stuff, dude. Wild stuff that million years Pokemon would never happen. Million years Mario would never happen. And it's happened. So like, what's the point? Am I wrong?
There is no point. I looked at this Ideas website today under the staff picks, and I looked at all of these today, and none of them screamed, do this now, or screamed they wouldn't already select this or do this themselves or already work on it themselves. There are, like you said, there's IPs in this list, in the staff picks, that they're already working with. So there's no reason, there's no incentive anymore. And I wonder how much I see a lot of, 3D renderings and stuff like that. And I'm curious how many of these sets have been physically built and stuff. If people are just kind of, it feels overloaded with ideas that maybe aren't realistic as well, which I thought was interesting.
Absolutely. But those ideas, Zach, you know where they go? To the Bricklink Designer Program.
That's
where people vote on here's where people go to vote for the original things that get put into production. And then at that point, there's a half dozen or more people that work with Lego directly to optimize their creations. They're not taking this and then giving it to some designer and having zero creative input. Yeah, you're getting your 1%. I forget what the cut is for BDP. I believe it's higher. I think it's higher. So not only, on ideas, you have to like get 10,000 people to vote on your thing. Then you have to hope that Lego wants to bring your thing through. Then you have to hope that it maintains true to your creative vision. And then you have to hope it sells well. Whereas with BDP, it's all transparent. It's all there. And it's all like stuff people really want. Like, why wouldn't BDP and Ideas merge one day and then Lego merges one day and you have all one thing?
But see, I don't think BDP and Ideas would merge, because that's the difference between those two, is that Lego puts their paws on the idea sets and pluses them up. So the only way you do that is if they start getting into the Bricklink Designer Program sets, scaling those back and changing those, which is not what they're supposed to be doing, right? Like, that's part of that program. And so, because we've seen it for good and for ill on the idea sets. Like, we've seen Lego put their paws into it and make it better, but we've seen Lego put their paws in it and make it worse. So,
and we've seen on the BDP side, every single one of those sets that came through, the creative vision maintained what it was,
right,
if not improved.
Right.
Like, so as a creative, you want to have that as the reality. Right. You don't want your vision messed with that much or whatever. And that also impacts the sales of it. Like, the person who had the Mickey set, how many more people never bought that thing because it looks like a pile of garbage, and that wasn't the dude's fault.
Right.
So like,
right.
How awful does that person feel? So I could see Ideas. What's the point of having Lego Ideas? And then, I don't know. And then, everybody's submitting their giant, overly crazy castle mock and putting it on ideas. It's never going to get through.
That's
and
the
then
other
we've
part.
had how many of those BDP sets are crazy castles?
So that's a really good point with the idea sets is I feel like the designers are doing themselves a disservice by submitting certain kinds of sets through the ideas program. If you've got a modular, do not put it in the ideas program. Don't. Never. Because it's never going to get approved. It's never going to go through because they have their own. Lego already has their own line for that. And there's no reason for them to give you a cut of that money, right? So the best thing to do is get it through the Bricklink designer program, keep your vision intact and let it go that way. And if it fits into the modular scheme, great. Plus for everybody. Right?
And we have the idea, you know, nobody wants castles through Lego Ideas or whatever. For a Lego idea set to be successful, I would bet you it's a different metric compared to a traditional Lego set or idea set. So like, yeah, 10,000 units just on the website is amazing. But when you think about all the everything that goes into shipping all the boxes everywhere, all the stores at LBR, online, you have Target, you have Walmart, you got to go everywhere with it. So maybe a successful idea set is 85,000, where a good Bricklink designer program set is 10. So it's kind of apples to oranges. I wouldn't, on a grand scheme of the buying public, I wouldn't take all these castles as being like, yeah, we need a castle reserve. I don't know about that. I wouldn't go there.
And Bricklink designer program is not, they do not accept modular submissions.
I would bet not.
Interesting.
Because the modulars are like, that's Lego's thing.
That's Lego's thing.
But like the Transylvania castle, that's not
like, a modular, but
perfect. Yeah, right. But it's perfect for it.
Right.
Like it's perfect for BDP.
Right. Which is how we got the botanical garden set, which was not a modular. It was bigger. It didn't fit that same scheme. It might as well have been. You know what I mean? Like it was basically it, but that was through the ideas program and people kind of scratched their heads at it. It was an interesting one for them to submit and take. You know, the one thing on the staff picks that caught my eye, and again, I know it's another IP, but I thought, man, you talk about printing money, was Thomas the Tank Engine. That would be an interesting one, an interesting whole line of them to do. But why would they go through well, that's the thing. Why would you go through the ideas program for that? You could do.
No, it's Duplo. Yeah, that's never going to happen.
Right. So why even try to submit? That's my point. It's like, I feel like as the designer, I feel like
the reason why, Zach, is if you can get 10,000 people to upvote on your thing, then you get like $500 worth of free Lego.
Okay.
So that's your consolation prize.
Gotcha.
Like you made it to 10,000. Boom. There you go.
Well, I mean, that's a pretty good consolation prize, I suppose.
Yeah, but I mean, depending on who you are, the effort to getting 10,000 people to vote on your thing. And
models may not be based off the following internal Lego IP: Ninjago, Dreams, Friends, Monkey Kid, Brickheads, and the Icons modular.
Dude, I had such a really cool Dreams mock that I wanted to put on there. Dang, bro. Such a successful
So that's
IP.
the Bricklink designer program fine print is that. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, because Lego already has a thing of it.
Ooh, I like this old flying club and hangar airplane.
Yeah, and they can just do that themselves. They could do a whole.
They could do a lot. I mean, they should do a lot of these themselves. But that's where how many of these?
Nothing's off the docket anymore. Like there's okay. And to answer your actual question, the one thing I want is Avatar: The Last Airbender. I want Appa with the crew on a stand. That's all I want. And then Netflix is with them. So, or, you know, you go back to Nickelodeon or whatever. Like, I would love to see SpongeBob come back. There's actually an alternate brick brand that does SpongeBob stuff. And it's super expensive, but it's very cool. So, like, none of these things that I'm looking at are like, yeah, this can only be done through ideas. This is all something Lego could do. Although a blockbuster modular does sound pretty dope. That sounds great, but that would not sell well.
No, a blockbuster modular would totally sell well.
That's 90s, dude, right there.
Yeah. That was.
You get me?
Yeah.
You know what you do, actually? You have a blockbuster case that opens up, and it's like a Harry Potter book, right? So you have like the little innards on it, and it looks like the inside of a Blockbuster with the. Anyways, that's never gonna
Oh
sell.
my God! If they had done like a book nook or something that was a tape, like a Blockbuster tape.
Yes, that's what I just said.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would have been great.
Yeah.
And then it opens up, and inside is the store, like a diorama of the store.
Hire me.
Hire me. See, we already gave them better 80s submissions with the kit car and better 90s submissions with the Blockbuster store.
And then obviously we have our mutual equivalent of Peach's Castle, the National Lampoon Christmas Vacation House, which will never happen. Never happen.
I still believe it will. I have faith.
It's never going to happen.
I have faith that it will.
I will delete all my social media presence if that happens. There's a 0% chance it's going to happen. I'll delete everything.
Wow. That clip it and ship it, chat.
Everything.
I want that.
Everything.
I want that saved immediately. Please. I will download it tonight. Somebody clip that comment. I need it forever. I'm gonna do a printout of that comment, and I'm gonna staple it to his headstone right next to the QR code that leads to Pro Gamer's Guide of how to do your taxes.
No, the reason why, Lady Rutledge, is because the scene with the car literally has Clark Griswold giving a bird to the guy in the car next door. They're not going to do that.
They're doing a lot of stuff. They're doing a lot of stuff that's
what?
still.
What's as raunchy? What?
That is raunchy.
Yeah, as like, oh.
I'll tell you right now, The Office did a lot of raunchy things.
No, it's not the same thing.
The Office did a lot of raunchy things.
No, that's not the same.
It did. Yeah, it did.
No.
It might have blurred it out, but it was there.
It's water everywhere, Todd.
I feel like they have. I feel like they've done
somebody who's a bigger nerd than either of us. Tell us what's as raunchy that Lego has ever done that they put out.
Well,
what?
I still don't understand why mine isn't as good. There is stuff in The Office that they cannot put on television today.
But it's not the same as Chevy Chase being like, and I want that no good, like going on that rant. Nothing has come close.
All they did though was just do this. The Office.
Not in the theatrical release.
In The Office, that's what they did. They just used the beep button.
Yeah, they bleeped it in National Lampoon.
They had him running around with his finger in his pants, Brian. Treating it like a hedgehog.
Yeah, but
they did really raunchy things in The Office, dude. Like really ding dong. Like they did really raunchy things in that office to where, again, if they all you do is you take that show, you put it in a theatrical release, and you just unblur out the stuff. You unbeep out the stuff. But it was still a PG-13 movie.
Debut.
It was a PG-13 movie. It was not. They have plenty of PG-13 properties that they are currently selling.
Also, that's why you're never getting another Deadpool ever again. So,
which could be why we are not seeing any more Stranger Things. But Stranger Things is the other example. Stranger Things, it's not raunchy, but it's violent and it's kid violent.
Yeah.
So again,
I agree.
Yeah, Lego has done some of this stuff, man. Like they put kick on a car, dude. Like they have done things.
I'm not saying that I don't want to, I'm saying this as somebody who wants it to happen, but it's not going to happen.
I'm trying to give you the ammunition. So when you go into that boardroom, when they finally let you into the parking lot of the new home office there in Boston, right? You can walk in and you can say, here's why you can do National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation House. This is why.
What I'm going to do is the week before they go on Christmas break, I'm going to waltz up in my bathrobe and the hat and then just funnel into the sewer system. And then I'll just look up with my stogie and I'll start waving at everybody and be like.
And say what?
Put the full. with the in the background.
Amazing. I love it. You know what else we're also gonna love is
That's the most interesting topic for the day. Actually, that was it. That was the one.
I told you.
Be gone.
He was like, I sent him the topic list chat, and he said, what, slow week? I was like, no.
I said slow week, eh?
No. Listen, we got this. It's gonna be the best.
We got
it's
a
gonna be the
moon
best
car.
show of the month.
Wow.
Moon car.
Wow.
Moon car. So July coming up here really, really soon, which is crazy to think about that we are already like looking at July 1st. That's kind of nutty. The time is absolutely flying by. July 1st releases are right around the corner. We don't have a lot. I'm almost looking at it like the calm before the storm, because once we get into August, like the train's really going to start moving, right?
Yep.
This does feel like a little bit, subdued compared to stuff that we got in July, May, going backwards. And then obviously once we start going into August, September, October, it's going to get wild. It's going to get hairy going on for the rest of the year. But let's look at quiet July. July, we've got things like How to Train Your Dragon, the Miles Morales, the Nike Dunk, the Shelby Cobra, and the Battle Droid with the STAP STAP vehicle. Okay. So if you were looking at these, I can tell you right now, the July 1st releases that I'm the most excited about. Obviously, as a Star Wars fan, I want to see. Eventually, I'm going to get this battle droid. Eventually, I'm going to get it. Okay. The Miles Morales, I have the Spider-Man helmet, head, bust, whatever. It's just a reprint of the same thing. It's going to be the exact same build, guaranteed. Whatever. I just wanted to kind of complete the collection kind of thing. Again, it's not an immediate thing, but eventually I would like to have it. That Shelby Cobra. Oh, it will be mine. Oh, yes, it will be mine on day one. I want that Shelby Cobra badly. The How to Train Your Dragon, absolutely not. I think they completely misfired on that one. But I know you're not. I don't think any of these sets are for you. But looking at the sets, looking at the prices, are there any sets in that list that if you were telling somebody one out of these, which one would you target?
I like that battle droid, actually, with the STAP. I think it's cool. There's not enough love for episode or prequel stuff recently, so I think that's a solid one. You get a full build there. We haven't gotten a full size battle droid like that since the Technic one that came out like forever, like 99. So like, yeah, I think that's really cool. Man, that Nike set, the
no, I don't know what's going on with that. I think that's a misfire as your first set coming out with this with a Nike partnership. I'm not really sure. That to me, that almost screamed like, I don't know, people at Nike just weren't paying attention, didn't care. Like they just didn't even look at it. I don't know. There's just, you see some like the Nintendo partnership is never coming out with something that looks like that. You know what I mean? They're not going to do something like that. They have, they care about their property, and this just did not scream that at all, which is unfortunate. But we are the fortunate thing of this is if a set like the Battle Droid or the Shelby Cobra, and obviously with the Battle Droid, you got to add a little bit to it. But you do get there are some positives to possibly pulling the trigger on that July 1st time frame. Lego did announce that they are going to be giving out a moon car as a insider rewards purchase for 2,500 points. Or you could get the Friendly Snails GWP set for $160 US. I'm assuming the Shelby Cobra at $159.99 qualifies. I'm not sure if they're gonna round up, because that's the stickler for me. Is if I buy the Shelby Cobra and I have to buy something else just to cover that $160 threshold, that's a sneaky move, Lego. That's a sneaky move, because those are your sets. That's your price threshold. You have the How to Train Your Dragon and Miles Morales at $69.99. This is the low point. And then then the Shelby Cobra is your high point at $159.99. So if you're not going to let that go through at $159.99 and you're going to make me add a keychain,
yep,
that is a bunch of bull butter, Lego. I'm not a fan.
That's not a very pro-consumer move.
No. They strategically set that GWP above the highest price set that they're coming out with on July 1st.
Yep.
That's a snaky move. I'm not a fan. I hate being overly critical of Lego, but that is one of those corporate style moves that makes me go, do I want to be in bed with Lego anymore? Because that's pretty rough.
Yeah, they do that all the time.
I know, but that's my point.
You know,
Like, there's only so much of that again, we started this year talking about moves like this. We did. We started talking about the beginning of this year. We said, what are some of the things Lego needs to not be doing? And it's moves like this. And we're back to it. And I'm telling you, with Mattel Brick Shop hot on their heels, you've got other entities that are popping up on the market. You can't keep doing this stuff to people. They notice. The people that are in the know, that know to look elsewhere, they notice. You can't keep doing this to people. You can't. So
have you purchased a Mattel Brick Shop set at all? Are they even available? I don't even know.
They're on pre-order.
They're on pre-order still? They had this event when?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I think
put the thing on shelves, dude.
Dude, the hype is real though, man. They have been hyping it up. They've got all their people out there doing the events and all this stuff. But yeah, I think
they had one event 4 months ago. Come on, get it together.
They've had multiple events. They've had multiple events at multiple locations, man. They are everywhere, man. Everywhere.
Unbelievable.
So and the early reviews have been extremely positive.
Well, yeah, because everybody that went to the event got a kit for free. What do you think? It's actually a piece of garbage. It's like, well,
in today's world, even I know sometimes we've talked about it. Sometimes people dog on the land members a little bit about, are the reviews are they accurate to what we're getting and what we're actually seeing and what we're paying? And even the land members lately, especially lately, have been extremely critical over what they're getting from Lego.
Well, yeah, because now some of the moves are just that bad. And then, if they are that objectively bad and you try to save face, it's like, all right, well, then you're just in their pocket or they're in your pocket or whatever.
But my point is the people on the internet, like, they have no reason, even if they're gifted something like that, they have no reason to be overly enthused about it if they're not legitimately enthused about it. Like, people have that narrative has shifted. I feel like the people that I've seen in these videos are people that also do a lot of Lego stuff too, and like they have that objective opinion on it, and so they're being overly positive about this stuff whilst also having Lego in their pocket and sending them things for reviews and getting Lego for reviews and things like that. So if they're also being and being kind of negative against Lego at the same time, that now we're getting a different kind of story here. So it just goes back to my point though. Like, Lego has to be careful. They can't become complacent in what they have in the market that they have when things are starting to, this year especially, transpire, where people are tightening up some of those pocketbooks and looking at things like this and looking for better value. And all of a sudden you start pulling some of these antics where you release a gift with purchase and you put it above the threshold of any of the new sets that you're offering on July 1st. That's a snaky move, and I'm not a fan. Absolutely not a fan of it. Like I said, the Shelby Cobra is a set. As a car guy, they killed it. Looks great. Can't wait to get it. The only thing I don't like about it is the big iconic moment in that set is the Carroll Shelby signature on the dash, and they turned that into a sticker rather than giving it a printed piece like they should have. I think that was a really lazy move, cheap lazy move on Lego's part with that. But the overall model of the car looks great. The curves on it look fantastic. They did a really good job with it. Other than that, but looking forward, so this is what I want to get into. Looking ahead, looking at the future of Lego, of the industry. I have questions, I have concerns, but I'm curious what Bricks O'Brien wants to see from Lego going forward. We're kind of at this midway point of the year, right? We're in the slow month of Lego releases. Everything, it's all downhill. As of August, man, is just gonna go rolling through the rest of the end of the year when it comes to releases. We got big rumored releases coming for towards the end of the year. What do you want to see from Lego? Not just from what releases they have, but just overall culture. What do you want to see from Lego that can keep you enthused through December all the way into 2026?
I want to see a really killer Christmas set, dude. Like something really killer. I don't know what that means. I don't know what I want. I want something really good.
You want the Griswold house in December.
Christmas, right? Yeah, I mean, I want that Death Star to look really good. I want it to feel worth $1,000, and I think that's an impossible task. I think no matter what, you're gonna look at it and be like, it's cool, but not $1,000. And I think it's gonna really stick with people. I would love, we're not gonna get it, would love to see a preview of Pokemon. I would love to see a full Pikachu done. It's already done and sitting on a desk in Denmark or Boston, just 40 minutes away, not even. I could break in tonight and go see it. But it might be that. In terms of anything else, I don't really got, like, Lego has already done so much. And I think they're gonna go through whatever they're gonna go through this holiday. And then, I don't know what other initiative I could ask for. At this point, honestly, I'm kind of, other than obviously Mario minifigure, having that, but we all have our own pipe dreams in our own ways. Yes.
I'm gonna pose a question to you. Do we live in a world where that $1,000 Death Star doesn't actually come out in October? Because Lego has not officially acknowledged its existence.
I think there is. I think anything's up for debate. People have been really quiet about it for a long time, and they haven't teased anything. Which if I were them,
they haven't teased it. It was like a press release or a news story that caught like wildfire, right? Went nuts all over the internet, and we had LAN members out there making content about it. News broke. Lego's first official $1,000 USD Lego set's going to be a Star Wars set Death Star, right? But Lego never commented on it. Never put anything out about it. Never even acknowledged its existence. Never acknowledged that the news story was accurate. Just crickets. And it's been crickets for 6 months. I'm scared.
Kind
of scared, and yet also kind of relieved, almost, right? Like if it is fake news of sorts.
So when I think of what they should do with the Death Star, I think of what they did with, it was back in 2013, and they did a life-size Lego X-Wing in Times Square, and they had it on display. And did it, right? And how unbelievably cool that looked, and just this idea that it was a thing and you could go see it in the middle of Times, like, it's just absolutely insane. So 2000, over a decade ago, they need to have such a overwhelmingly comprehensive marketing plan for that Death Star, and I don't think you can do it between now and October. 3 months, I don't think you can do it. So I would think Star Wars Celebration, I don't know. I don't know.
That's the thing. They missed that boat, right? They missed that boat because Star Wars Celebration came and went this summer. Nothing. Crickets, right? We have heard, again, we don't get into leaks on this show, but we've heard a lot of rumors over the last few months about a lot of different sets coming out towards the back half of the year. What they did acknowledge was the Game Boy set, which, again, not like, we're not apples to oranges when it's compared to something like $1,000 Death Star. This is a $70 set that we're talking about here. But that Game Boy was also scheduled for an October release. We've got sets rumored like the Star Wars Enterprise. Star Trek Enterprise. I said Star Wars. Sorry. Star Trek Enterprise. Right? You've got rumored sets like the Black Pearl. These are all major tentpole sets coming out at the end of the year. On top of other rumored Star Wars sets to also be hitting on top of this. The closer we get to October without hearing anything, boy, the more I just keep thinking it's not actually happening. That somehow this rumor got started and they're just laughing hysterically in Denmark, going, maybe this was a test. Maybe this was a test to like leak something to see what the waters were like when it comes to actually putting out a true $1,000 USD Lego set in the form of a Death Star.
I don't think so, because the pressure is not on will people buy it. I think people will gobble it up like a Thanksgiving Day turkey. It's entirely on Lego to make that worth $1,000, and I would be petrified if I were anywhere in that boardroom and that didn't look. It needs to look like a $1,000 set. If it doesn't look like it, then they're gonna get chewed alive. They will be thrown to the fire. Just like, absolutely not. So whatever plan they maybe had, whatever approach, maybe they're reevaluating. Because I tell you right now, I'm not a diehard Star Wars fan by any means. You're not going to release $1,000 Death Star and give me Shoduga Lotinda as an exclusive minifigure that appears in the background of a scene of the Death Star where he's carrying a ninja coffee maker. I don't care. So we got to do better than this. I know you like doing it for the sake of exclusivity and making everybody feel good about having something special. It's stupid. Can't do that here. Give me the best of the best of the best. And I think they aren't able to do it.
So over or under, I mean, what do you think? Do you think we're seeing $1,000? Do you really think it's going to happen this year or no?
Yeah, Black Friday.
You think it's Black Friday set? Okay. All right.
I mean, if it's not October, I mean, like
May 2026.
That would be the anniversary of Jedi or New Hope. Is that 50 years of New Hope?
No, 2027. This is what you and I discussed last year at the end of last year. Was May 2027 is when you do it. You release the $1,000 Death Star on the 50th of A New Hope. That's when you do it. Makes sense to me.
I would love that. That'd be, I mean, are you kidding me?
It needs that kind of, like, pushing it out this makes no sense. It doesn't. Pushing it out next year makes no sense. It doesn't. But they've never really had calendars in Denmark, so that's.
I actually know exactly what they should do for a marketing activation. Should I? I'm not going to voice it here because I feel like I need to be better. I'm full of a lot of good ideas, Zach, and I need to shut up sometimes. Like these are not
to be fair, they haven't taken any of them.
But who's to say that somebody else couldn't? Right? Who's to say they couldn't? You know.
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's not. He's got great ideas. I'm just saying. They listen.
Well, that means we got to have people watching the show. We don't have enough people watching the show. It's just, we got Aaron Preston being here for the 97th week in a row. We got Roy here for the 98th week in a row. It's like, come on, you need a new audience here. The show's gonna get canceled, cooked. We go to Hollywood. It'll only be when we get to Hollywood that I finally am like, hey, listen, Boone. Let's go, man. Hey, man.
Exclamation coffee, everybody. Exclamation coffee. I'll be sending Brian some coffee on Friday, starting at 5 p.m. Eastern time.
Please don't.
You have to have it because you don't have a plan and you don't know when we're stopping on Friday. All I know is I'm going to be there on Friday with him. I hope you all are too. 5 p.m. Eastern time. for his partner celebration. Should be a blasty blast time.
Folks,
Folks,
man.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us for Z and B Live, your Unfiltered Lego podcast. Don't forget you can catch us on the replays over on YouTube or on podcast channels like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those things. But if you want to catch us live, get over here to Twitch, twitch.tv/ZachAmRellich, and hang out with us for the post show, which you can do if you're live with us. Hang out with us there. We'll be hanging out with you guys for a little bit before we raid out, answering any questions, continuing the conversation. Mr. Bricks O'Brien, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Appreciate you all chat in our live chat here on Twitch. And we will catch you guys next time. Bye.